Hello. Hi. It's time for JPNN here on this Wednesday, October 20th. Let's get into it. The big news of the day is, of course, God of War is coming to the personal computer. It's going to be here on January 14th, 2022 at $49.99. It'll have native 4K, frame rate unlock, shadow high resolution, DLSS, NVIDIA, reflex, low latency technology, ultra wide support, all that good stuff. It's very exciting times, chat. It's very exciting times. I don't know if, that was a weird, anyways. I'm seeing colors, chat. I don't know if that, did I ever say that God of War would ever go to the PC? I think I did. I think I probably had some grandiose statement about it. But I don't really have anything super revelatory to say about this. Only that I'm glad that people will be able to experience what I consider to be one of the greatest games ever made. It's a hell of a thing. And we might do something, because we've streamed 2 different playthroughs of this game. We might do a super heavily modded playthrough in January, maybe. That'd be kind of fun. Just an incredibly modded playthrough where every character is different. Thomas the motherfucking Train is the world serpent, and whoever else we can get. I would love to do a modded playthrough of that. It would be a lot of fun. So, yeah. Definitely go watch the trailer if you haven't. We don't watch it in trailer time if you're waiting to watch it there. Because it's only going to really make a difference if you're watching in 4K, etc. But, yeah. Pretty exciting. Someone in chat just said something about Final Fantasy, and I need to go check to make sure that they're being real, and I don't think it's the case. Yep, I don't see anything about it. Unless there's one more place that would be announced, and it is not. Okay, never mind. We're good. Fake news. What else do we have going on, though, in the world of news? Cyberpunk is in the news once again. The next gen version of Cyberpunk 2077 will be coming out in the first quarter of 2022. And the next gen version of Witcher 3 Wild Hunt in the second quarter of 2022. I think the dumbest part about this is it's no longer next gen. It's current gen, motherfuckers. This, we're in it. The Xbox Series X, you're not getting the PS6 version of Cyberpunk. And a Witcher 3, you're getting the fucking PS5. So to say next gen is kind of weird, in my opinion. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. I don't know who's later, Cyberpunk and Witcher 3's next gen versions, or the fact that finally De Novo has been removed from Near Replicant. That took about 37 years to finally be removed. Were they still experiencing a shit ton of pirating? I don't know. Also, does De Novo even prevent, piracy? Isn't that stuff, pretty easy to... Don't talk about in the chat. I can't promote that on the channel. But yeah, it just seems kind of silly. Anyways, what else do we have news related? Resident Evil 4 VR is out. Ooh, we also have some big news there. Let me round up some reviews here. Although Resident Evil might be the only review that we need to talk about. Yeah, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. How'd it score? Oh, it's only 9 reviews right now. But with 9 reviews, chat, drum roll, please. That was the worst drum roll I had. Sorry. It's sitting at 84 right now. Let's read some headlines here. Destructoid says, still, you're getting the entire campaign, and that's an important thing to circle back on. You know, the Wii version came out and pointer use changed the way you played an already fantastic game. It's like that all over again, but on a bigger scale. At this point, I want all of the Resident Evil games to get this treatment. Hell, bring Dino Crisis back like this, so I can look backwards and see a T-Rex running at me while hoofing it. Port Onimusha and add real-time swordplay. The sky's the limit. Okay, Chris Carter, who gave it a 9 out of 10 at Destructoid. Calm the fuck down. Neville is now biting my toes because he's hungry. Fucking asshole cat. Game Informer says Resident Evil 4 VR is an absolute blast. The perspective shift from third to first person and the ability to freely run around during combat fundamentally altered how I played one of my favorite games. IGN says Resident Evil 4 is a breath of fresh air for one of the most ported entries in Capcom's long-running series. While the game is missing modes like Separate Ways or the Mercenaries, Armature has crafted one of the best versions of Resident Evil 4 to date. I mean, the worst part about all this is that you have to use the Quest. It's a Quest exclusive. You have to fucking have a Facebook account in order to play it. And I mean, like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, that's the Resident Evil 4 Facebook version. Kind of sucks. The big news a couple days ago, Destiny fans perpetually upset and looking at something to be upset about within that game. Bungie came out and said that dungeons are going to be extra in terms of money. You'll have to buy the dungeons that come out in the games. They have clarified within a Reddit thread via their community manager. They said, hey everyone, we've seen some debate around the new dungeon content and wanted to clarify how it will be delivered next year. If you get the digital deluxe edition of The Witch Queen, you will receive the expansion, all 4 seasons for next year, and the 2 dungeons. If you get the standard edition, you can still upgrade to the deluxe edition to get the dungeons later. We'll be offering a separate way for you to purchase dungeons in the future, but they will not be included in the season passes. We'll share more info on this closer to when this content is set to go live. And that one comment is currently sitting at negative 2,500 downvotes as they are being absolutely eviscerated, as this one comment said. Man, this is a tough situation because, like, if I put on my player cap for a second, right? Yeah, that fucking sucks to charge for dungeons when you've never charged for dungeons before. And I also don't know how much it's going to cost. But that sucks. But to put on my, like, hey, we got to make money off of this thing hat. Maybe they're wearing we need to make a lot more money off of this thing hat. I'm just putting on we need to make money off of this thing hat. Keep that in mind. Of course they're going to charge for that. They can't just give away everything for free, right? The game's free to play. You have to have, I don't know. You have to have some form of monetary transaction. You can't just have a free to play game. It doesn't necessarily work most of the time. I do think the fact that it's not offered in the standard edition is kind of bullshit. That aspect is kind of bullshit. The fact that you have to get the deluxe edition just to get the dungeons, that's kind of bullshit. I could see the argument that they should probably just be in the standard edition. However, if this means that the quality of the dungeons goes up to the level of, I don't know, my favorite dungeons in the game, and they're always of that level, I don't know. I'll say this, though. There's two communities I would never want to draw the ire of. And the first one, at its peak, was the Overwatch community. And the second one is the Destiny community. They are very vocal, as they, have every right to be, about their game. And as seen here, they're very not upset or very not happy with this. So we'll see if Bungie makes any changes about this. I will say, though, the majority of people that are in this thread, also in the chat, you guys are still going to play Destiny, and you're probably still going to upgrade to the deluxe edition. So, you're probably, if anything, you're creating the problem that you're rallying against in a lot of ways. So, and I will too. Like I'm a sucker for it. I admit it. I think I've already purchased the deluxe edition of the game. I spent $150 on a fucking weird statue for the game. So, yeah. The only thing that really speaks volumes is the amount of money that you're willing to spend on a thing. And just like mobile games, there are enough people in the Destiny community, just like there's enough people that play mobile games, that will spend money on said game, and they will continue doing it. Just like in mobile games, they will continue selling things in mobile games. So that's just how it is. It's just the unfortunate side of it. That's my take on it, at least. Might not be the best, but yeah. Did you ever get a jacket? I did. I spent a couple of $100 on a jacket. I think I got that when it was hot last year. So we'll mess with it next year or in a couple weeks when it starts getting colder. The difference is you admit it and those Redditors don't. Could be the case. Moving on with the news. What else do we got? Okay, the cats are starting to gang up on me, guys. This is rough. Xbox said that it, quote, jumped at the chance, end quote, to work with Crystal Dynamics on Perfect Dark. Makes sense to me. Crystal Dynamics has a good track record of making interesting single-player stuff. So that's good. Normally I wouldn't interrupt the news with this, but we just had Zircon Capri hit 100 months subscribed in the chat. Round of applause. Thank you so much for the 100 months of support. Make sure he gets added to JPedia mods. What else do we got? I saw this, but I didn't read into this. So the article is entitled Currency Crisis in New World. And it very much looks like an article that you would see on like Forbes or something. I'm going to read the subject of this and see what it is. Players in New World are experiencing a rare economic crisis, at least within the scope of online gaming. Deflation. More money is leaving circulation that can be replaced. MMO players are more familiar with the opposite issue of rampant inflation. as most MMOs do not have currency sinks to prevent the accumulation of money, leading prices for materials, armors, items, housing, or anything in between to rise often rapidly. Barring developer interventions, the price of goods trend inevitably upwards. So how is this? What is this happening about? The ways of obtaining coins in-game, monster drop, salvage, and quests don't offer enough raw currency to counterbalance the number of coins being used. As a result, prices have been dropping for goods, particularly crafting materials such as ore, not necessarily because there isn't enough coin to afford them, but because the value of the currency is so much higher than the value of goods, given their relative scarcity. A punishing overhead tax burden exists in the game, where the cost of crafting, home ownership, or repairs exceeds the player's ability to accumulate coin. In addition, companies are taxed for territory ownership, essentially de-incentivizing PvP since the marginal cost far exceed any potential benefit. Currency is so valuable now that on certain servers, direct trades have become part and parcel of a makeshift barter economy, with neither party willing to part from their coin. Trades such as 1,000 linen for 600 ore and 20 eggs or star metal tools for 40 steel bars are commonplace, like what one would expect to see in a hunter and gatherer society, which is surprisingly thematic, but nonetheless a frustrating experience for players. I don't think that's a problem. I think it's actually kind of a unique situation that New World should potentially embrace. However, I don't think that was their intended effect whatsoever. And I think that is 100% caused by the fact that the developers of that game have literally no fucking idea what they're doing. And I think it's just as simple as that. I really do. So I guess we'll see what happens. I don't necessarily think they're going to intervene. They'll probably just say, yeah, that's our intended effect. It's awesome to see emergent gameplay prevail through players creating unique and exploratory trading methods. And we really want to hearken to all of that and generate more of these situations to really draw people into the New World experience, because just like our world, this is a new type of MMO. I should work in that was a pretty good PR babble bullshit right there. It's not bad. It's not bad PR, chat. It's not bad. I think I just wrote their PR statement. Yeah, I think that game is spiraling towards a mass exodus when the fan base finally starts to realize that the developers have no idea what they're doing on that game. I see so many different content creators on Twitter talk about all these changes that need to take and work and put in place and all this stuff. And I really, really don't see them changing shit. There's a patch notes yesterday. I didn't read it, so maybe I'm completely off base this. I'm kind of going off just my experience with the game. But I truly don't think that... I think it's just going to be bad. I think it's just going to be... it's going to be one of those games where everyone looks back and think oh, that game actually sucked. Because I realized that about a week after playing it. And I think anyone else that's playing it currently is straight up lying to themselves. Those are just and I got paid to play the game. So I wish I could have realized that faster. But unfortunately it took, 50, 60 hours of playing that game till it really dawned on me what was happening. But yeah. Anyways. This is some interesting news. Axios and Steven Totillo is reporting that Xbox Game Pass subscriptions miss Microsoft's target. Interesting. Subscriber growth for Microsoft's signature gaming service, Xbox Game Pass, was slower than the company hoped in the past year, according to a new financial filing. Xbox Game Pass is often touted as the best deal in gaming. Its subscriber count is shorthand measure of Microsoft's gaming success. Correct. For the 12 months that ended on June 30th, Xbox Game Pass subscriber growth was up 37%. The company had set a 48% growth goal. In the company's prior fiscal year, which ran from mid-2019 through mid-2020, Game Pass subs were up 86%, exceeding a target of 71%. For those that want to see actual subscriber counts, that's the catch. Microsoft hasn't been sharing them lately. The most recent confirmed figure is 18 million as of January. The service costs $10 a month for console or PC players, or $14 a month for a combo. Well, I don't think this is a issue of Game Pass failing. Well, it's an issue of Game Pass failing, but not in it being a bad product. It's the fact that Xbox Game Pass didn't have very many interesting games that required Game Pass to get. The second that they put Halo Infinite or Forza or Starfield or any of that shit, it's going to fucking skyrocket. You're going to see so many people jump on Xbox Game Pass because it really is the best deal in gaming. And I've said that for a long time. And I've never been sponsored to say that at all. It's insane. And we're coming up on probably 4 or 5 months where it'll be crazy. Isn't Halo Infinite free to play? The multiplayer aspect of Halo is free to play. The single player aspect is not. The campaign is not free. But it will be a part of Game Pass. I really think you're going to see some... Yeah, actually, that's a great... Shimg. Sorry, I had to think about how to say your name. Probably looked like I was having a stroke there. Shimg in chat says Back 4 Blood should start pushing it back up now. That's a great point. I think Back 4 Blood is a perfect Game Pass game. It's a very well-made game. It's a lot of fun with friends. $10 a month. You get 4 people in there, and you jump in and enjoy it. You have a great time. I think I would not be surprised if we see some massive, absurd game go to Game Pass. If you look forward to 2022 and you look towards February, right now, Sony's kind of dictating the start of that year. They've got God of War on the 14th on PC, Horizon Forbidden West on the 18th of February, Destiny 2 The Witch Queen. Most of its player base, I think, or a large portion of its player base plays on PlayStation. Sifu is PS5 exclusive. It comes out on PC as well. I would not be surprised if you see an Elden Ring come to Game Pass. And I think that would be a monumental deal for them and really do good things. If I recall correctly, Elden Ring is still published by Bandai Namco, correct? Or are they self-publishing now? I think Bandai Namco Bandai Namco publishes that. And if you look back on Game Pass, I think there's a large majority of Bandai Namco games on Game Pass. I think. I want to confirm this. Scarlet Nexus is one of them. I'm kind of grasping at straws here. What else? I don't know enough about Bandai Namco's list of Game Pass games. Some of them left recently. Okay, so there's a history there, is at least what I'm trying to grasp for. I think it would be an interesting situation if Elden Ring showed up on Game Pass. You never know. That would be a big get. Because apart from that, Xbox doesn't really have anything console specific launching in January of next year or February of next year or March of next year. So I would expect something to, they would try to capture that. They're probably going to try to coast on Halo coming out in December, because I don't think the inverse of that is true. I don't think there's very many games for Sony at the end of the year. I think. Forza is November, so yeah, that's obviously Xbox. We have Halo in December. Forza in November, Halo in December. Yeah, there's not really a big. Maybe they're just gonna separate. Maybe that's not real. Maybe I'm making all this up. Could be the case. But I like to have big, bold ideas here, chat. Here's my idea. Mark it down. We will see Elden Ring join Xbox Game Pass. It's not gonna happen, but it might have. You never know. You never really know, chat. Who could say? What else do we got? There's a lot of kerfluffle. I feel like anytime a Marvel game comes out, for whatever reason, the video game user base, fan base, whatever, just love to hop on it and shit all over it. It's been a lot of interesting, and I say this as a fanboy, so that's probably why I take it that way. But there was a lot of nonsense the other day when Guardians of the Galaxy, it was leaked or said, or I don't even know where the original story came from. But there's an uncompressed version of the game right now that's 150 gigabytes. We covered it on the show. They have tweeted out on the official Guardians of the Galaxy Twitter that it will be 80 gigs on PC after optimization. They said the team is in the last stages of optimizing the final game, and we can confirm the launch file size will be approximately 80 gigs at launch. So there you go. There you go. Let me see if there's any other news. We covered the European Dying Light situation. I think that's it. Chat, if you guys have any key chat alerts, let me know. There's a strong delay currently running on the stream, so it's kind of making the interaction with chat very, very slow, but it is what it is. It'll be fixed probably tomorrow. I think that's it. Ubisoft put out an update on Might and Magic X Legacy. What is this? On June 1st, we made the decision to remove Might and Magic X Legacy from sale following an unexpected issue that occurred after we shut down various services for co-security reasons, which prevented players from accessing some parts of the game and its DLCs. Our team has spent the last few months investigating and testing the different solutions to make sure the player's experience lives up to the standard in terms of quality of service. Today, we're happy to announce that all conditions are met to bring the game back into the Ubisoft Store and to Steam, and that new and returning players can now venture into the wide and mysterious world of Ashen again. In addition to the base game, we also took this opportunity to give all fans of Might and Magic X Legacy the freedom to extend their adventure by accessing the DLC, The Falcon and the Unicorn, entirely for free. There we go. There we go. We have a little bit of key chat alerts. Celtic Knights got one. Apparently in Star Citizen, there's an exploit that has players healing each other to death. The exploit makes use of syringe needles that are usually used for healing. I kind of hate this type of story because this entire story, it just stems from the idea that people hate Star Citizen. If this was any other game, no one would give a flying fuck. But this like revolves around the idea of like, yay, Star Citizen's failing. Fuck those guys. When like, whatever. It's a beta. Surprise. A beta game that's never going to come out has issues. Who would have ever thought? It's weird. These stories are weird to me. But they're also, I mean, they're kind of funny at the same time. They're kind of funny at the same time. So that was on nme.com. Has the story. But yeah. The full story is, according to the Reddit user XX Shalo XX, the latest patch, the long in development space sim has added a new inventory and persistent mechanic, which means that players who die can now have their inventory looted by others. Okay. Star Citizen now is needle-based PvP where players go around ODing each other. Yes, this is real and I need you guys to know. So basically in the latest patch, Star Citizen added a new inventory and persistent mechanic. Basically, you can die now and lose all of your stuff on you and other players can loot it. This might seem small, but has huge consequences. Dying no longer is a minor hindrance it once was, and stuff is actually worth having / collecting. So players usually spawn in the starting area. These areas are armistice zones, which block PvP. However, healing a player through a involuntary needle injection isn't seen as PvP. You can see where this is going. Players spot a geared guy and bum rush him and stab him full. The player then actually overdose and die, and the gear is yours for the taking. This meta is fucking wild. Players started countering this by pre-dosing with an anti-overdose medicine before entering player hubs. But even then, if you get stabbed enough, it's lights out. This is some Space Station 13 levels of shenanigans. Pat was right. The fear is real. I don't know what that means, but... So maybe that is a bigger deal than I thought. Because if they're like losing gear that they actively paid for on spawn, that's probably that's kind of a fucked up situation. Whatever. It is what it is, I suppose. I feel like that's a great use case for, or not use case, but a great example for the internet finding, like the internet being the best QA team to ever exist. Ever. Because, like, how the fuck, there's no one on the dev team would be like, wait a minute, what if I heal you to death and you overdose? Will you drop your gear? They just don't think about that type of shit. It's crazy. A little bit of a key chat alert here from Mr. Trotty. He says Square Enix, he sends me a link to Video Game Chronicle news. Square Enix has revealed footage of its canceled Tomb Raider horror game, Ascension, which was inspired by the likes of Resident Evil, Ico, and Shadow of the Colossus. Interesting. It looks about what you would expect. It's very early on. It's a prototype. We could maybe watch it tomorrow if you guys want. However, I think they might be onto something. Those Tomb Raider, at least the new Tomb Raider game, have some very lifelike death animations. That stuff would be kind of interesting in a horror game element. Might be kind of fun. All right, chat. I think with that, we are going to call it a JPNN. All right. We're going to go. I feel like we need to go do something. And I'm like being pulled to it by a song right now. But it's okay. It's okay. It's going away. It's going away. Do we have a word of the day? I think the word of the day is acid rocker. Acid, 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 acid rocker. I think it's bass. Let's go with bass. The word of the day is bass. Thank you guys for watching. That'll do it. Appreciate it. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow. PoE League on Friday. Tomorrow, we'll figure out what we're going to be playing. All right. Have a good day. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.